What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Ain't gonna lie, some crazy stuff just happened. Some crazy stuff just happened on the charts. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That's a fat reversal right there. That's craziness right there. So we got a couple setups we're looking at right here, y'all. Let me add this other banner. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? I had to make a new streaming account. Was having slight technical difficulties, but the charts did something crazy off this 3M open candlestick. I'm not gonna complain too much because we was looking for these GJ. So again, if you didn't watch it's a Monday chart analysis, but it's usually Sunday chart analysis. But some charts are going as projected. I like this retest off GJ right here, though. This is what we was kind of looking for right here. So I do kind of like this retest right here in GJ. Whoops, my bad, y'all. Hopefully nobody has some AirPods in. Done knock my mic over. Let me make sure we still sounding good. My apologies to those that have earphones in. Let me see how we sounding. My apologies. All right, we sounding good still. So literally off the 3M candlestick, we had a fat rejection off GJ. This might not be terrible though, because we might be able to look for the same setup that last night price did on GJ. And then GU, we've been looking for GU buys, similar buy setup that GU did on Monday. But as you can see, as we was looking for the retest, price ended up with a fat reversal, which is very, very, very interesting. Now, we do got some news today. We do got news at 10 a.m. for the USD pair, so make sure to keep that in mind. We also got 9:30 Australian news popping off later on today when markets reopen. Was looking at a couple setups, but that 3M candlestick kind of canceled out all those confirmations. But I'm not complaining too much, especially with gold. Again, gold did a big move. We caught all these buy setups last week. And then even during, not on this chart, on my other chart. You see, we caught all the gold setters last week, got the entire higher high last week, and then Sunday night, Monday, price still was doing some moves. So I ain't complaining too much about this retracement right here, because again, retracements are part of the game, especially when it comes to gold. We're right back at the all-time highs. We actually just broke the all-time highs. So yeah, retracements are due. So we're gonna let gold retrace right here. But yeah, we was looking at GU and GJ buys, but now that price rejected. We're gonna see how this next 15 plays out. Just gonna bring this alert down here just in case it wants to retrace it down. So now we're gonna be watching NAS100. If NAS100 can hold 30, not 30, 23, 340 as resistance, we're gonna be looking for sales going down to 23, 230. That's what we're looking at right now. Again, last week we was looking for buys, but as we can see, price failed to hold as low as support on Friday. And obviously yesterday, price failed to break above, hold that low as support. So now we're back in sell territory again. This is the level price failed to break last week. So again, if we can hold as low as resistance, we're going to see a drop to the downside. So that's what we're looking for right here. We're going to the bigger time frame. We can see here that we're breaking past the reversal territory. Again, we caught this higher high last week, but then Friday price reversed. Now the support low is being treated as resistance, and now we see possible lower low coming into play, especially if we hold as low as resistance right here. So that's what we're going to be watching to see if price does. I don't know, this damn ads. I'm going to have to get rid of that. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Let me know how we sounding. Let me know how we sounding. What just happened? There we go. Again, y'all make sure to like the live as you hop up in here. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When looking at these charts, drop them in the chat. Let me get this stuff off the screen so we can see things a little bit better. There we go. What's going on, Doug? I see you up in here. Yeah, I'm testing out a new streaming platform and style, y'all. That's why things look a little bit different. I didn't really play with it too much over the weekend. I'm playing with it more later on this week as my screen just disappeared. Again, if y'all watch the Monday chart analysis Monday, again, I didn't go live Monday. I just decided to today, y'all, and for myself. But we still had some charts play out on Monday. GJ did a nice move on Monday. GJ and GU did a nice move on Monday. And then last night, this was the move we was looking for going into London session. Did a nice move around midnight, 11 o'clock, to the top of the zone right before London session. I was going to be looking for continued buys here. But as you see, GJ and GU did a fat reversal as soon as London session started. Completely canceled out, throwing off the analysis for the day. Well, not really my analysis, but most people's analysis. So again, we're not going to look for buys just yet because again, we want to look for buys off support. We have to sell off resistance. But GJ did do what we was finally looking for, which was come back to the highs. Again, look what price rejected and it's retracing that. And that's not a coincidence. But we did break past finally 199.15, which we were struggling to break past for literally the last 2 weeks. So we are going to be still looking for buys as long as we can maintain the whole 199.15 as support. So we're either going to be looking for buys if price can hold 199.15 as support, or if price can break back above and hold 199.75 as support. We're going to look for buys going back up to 220. Got a new video dropping for y'all later on today. Y'all make sure to have your noties on. GU's reversing, goals, retracing. I like NAS100 right here. So we're going to be seeing we can hold as low as resistance because, again, last time price broke this level, failed to hold. Last time price failed to hold. So we don't want to just enter sales because price broke the level. We want to see if we can hold the low as resistance, catch that next drop to the downside. Again, if NAS can hold 23,350 as resistance, we could look for sales going down to 23,230. here. We do have news at 10 a.m. Not going to be going live with the member students during today's news event, but we are going to still keep that in mind. So again, we're looking for setups. If we don't see any action between now, like 6, 7 a.m., we're just going to wait for New York Open and then see what the news does. But again, we got big retracements taking place literally at the start of London Session Open. It is a new month, y'all. So do have to tally up how we wrapped up August. We wrapped up August on a great note as far as last week is concerned. We went 5-1 last week and it's 83% win rate. Again, if you have not checked out the Monday chart analysis, they did it on Monday instead of Sunday, obviously because we didn't trade Monday. But like I always talk about, it doesn't just go over what I see price doing that night or that day of. It goes over what I see price doing throughout the entire week, just like how every Sunday chart analysis goes over what I see price doing throughout the entire week. Even though it is a new week, check out last week's Sunday chart analysis just to see what price was looking like at the beginning of that week and to compare it to what price is looking like right now. A lot of charts ended up going as projected last week. Again, we're right back in reversal territory. This is where it was at last week, where we failed to hold as resistance. All right. So the game plan is still the same. If we can hold 34.40 as resistance, we need to see the downtrend come into play. All right, so we're looking for sales. Your advise up here. Let's see what GJ's got for us. Got a new 15 about to pop up in a minute. Again, this is why we don't break out trade. Wait to see if price can break and hold as support or break and hold as resistance. All right, new 15 just popped up, so let's see if GJ can hold this low as support right here. Let's see what these other charts are up to. NASDAQ is about to reattempt to break this level here. So gold doesn't retrace back down to 34.64. If it breaks back above 34.90, holds that support, we can look for buys going to 35.08, 35.10. Much rather see it retrace and retest this level though, just to get a better short ratio setup and have a higher likelihood if I do go for buys to push up. Because again, that did nothing but fly literally all last, including yesterday and last night. Broke the all-time highs. Finally broke out of that chop city. So again, like we talked about in the Monday chart, now as long as we can maintain the whole 34.48, 34.30 as support, we can see price keep on pushing. And with gold pushing, I want to see this month. I'm gonna do crypto updates. Make sure to check out the recent ones I posted a couple weeks ago, but I am going to drop some new updates because it is a new month. And a lot of the cryptos on sale as well as the stocks. So I got new stock and crypto updates and analysis dropping for y'all. I also got a new video dropping for y'all later on today, so make sure to be on the lookout for that and have y'all's notice on. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well. Y'all see it scrolling at the bottom of y'all's screen. Instagram, Playmaker_Way, TikTok _Playmaker_Way_. Post daily on both pages. Yeah, GJ went 10 was looking for this buy setup literally, man. As soon as London session started, I was gonna look to see if we hold it low as support. It held it for like maybe 2 minutes, right? 301, 302, 303. Then that thing just went timber. So again, not sweating it, not gonna look for sells unless we can hold this low as resistance, which we just broke. But again, when it comes to trading, you got to be okay with watching stuff go, right? Again, don't look at every candlestick, every pip as money or missed money. That's what I used to do when I first started. But again, like I always tell y'all not making or losing any money until you enter buy or sell. So there's literally no point in fumbling into setups. You know what I'm saying? Just strictly focus and go for only your setups, and you're gonna win. I am liking how NAS and GJ are looking. Got to see if we can hold these levels here. New 5-minute did just pop up. Appreciate those that like the live. Make sure to like and subscribe, y'all. We just hit, I think we either just around the corner, we just hit, what you call it? Let me see where we're at right now. We're about to hit 3,850 subscribers, y'all. Let's go ahead and knock that out. Let's get to 3,800. No, 3,900. You can tell I just woke up. Let's get to 3,900 this week, y'all. We can get to that easily. Let me touch to the chat, see what we got going on. Let me see what we got going on. These banners. There we go. Again, y'all gonna be on the update. I gotta change this stuff. I made a new streaming platform, or I'm doing a new streaming platform stuff. I gotta update this stuff. I don't like how big this banner is, so I'm gonna have to update that later on. But again, it is a new month, so I'm gonna be doing the recap of how we did last month later on today. And this is the last month of the quarter. So obviously after this month's over, then we'll do the update of how we did this quarter. What's going on, Hassan? I see you up in here. I'm doing good. Can't complain. What about you? Watch your stream. 720. Yeah, I gotta fix that. Like I said, I gotta fix that. Yeah, all that will be fixed this week though, because I know it's usually on 1080. Let me pull it out on my phone. How's it look on my phone? I mean, let me see what it looks like. It'll look terrible. But I know those that be using the 1080 or the higher, because they got stuff higher than 1080p. I know they can look a little bit off. But you can't really see, if you're trying to model the levels, you can still see the levels. And you're trying to look at the prices, you wouldn't be able to know what prices anyways, because there's literally a bunch of numbers here. You see what I'm saying? But you can see the levels in the candlestick still. So you just have to bear with it until I fix it. But it'll be different if like you can't see it. But I get it. A lot of people are used to HD 4K, so you can see the difference. Just like if you watch a old movie from the early 2000s, you can tell the difference. Unless it was made good, it had good production, high budget back then, you could tell the difference in early 2000s or even 90s movies compared to movies coming out now. So I feel you. But you can still see what we're looking at, which is the market structure and what we're looking for, right? We're looking to see what holds level as resistance. We just broke this level. And then we're looking to see if GJ can hold this level as support. Like I said, I had to make a new streaming thing. I got to update and pay for it later this week because the one I had before was trying to overcharge it. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. All right, so I had to make a new account. I literally just made the new account before we went live, so that's why it took a little while to get live. So everything will be back to a regular scheduled program by the end of this week. But yeah, I can't fix the what you call the what is it, the quality. I can't fix that midstream. I have to end the stream and redo that. So, and because I made a new one, I have to change all the settings. That's why the fonts and stuff on the banners, everything look a little bit different from last week because I had to make a new platform. Yeah, so right now we're mainly just paying attention to GJ and NAS. Everything else didn't meet our confirmations. So if it doesn't meet our confirmations, we don't enter. That's simple. If it meets our confirmations, we enter. Do like NAS. Let's see if we can hold right here. Don't want to see it go further than this. I want to see if we can close at this level right here. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. Again, it's very, 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 very simple. If your confirmations aren't met, simply do not take the setup. Again, we got news at 10 a.m. today. Yeah, we got lower lows getting made right here. Okay, let's do it. Got 3 minutes till the next 15 pops up. Yeah, I do like this rejected pushback down. Do like this setup right here. That thing are ripping. Not doing what I'm looking for, but I'm still going to take the trade here. I'm still going to follow my rules, but the thing is pushing. So we'll see what the next 15 looks like. Again, if we can maintain the whole 23,340 as resistance, we can look for sales going down to 23,230. Looks like US30 is pushing down as well. Now, my analysis of US30 is a little bit different. They are doing similar things on the daily candlestick, but again, if we look at market structure, we see two completely different things, which is also why last week NAS100 and US30 did two completely different things as well on the bigger time frames as well as the smaller time frames. So I'm not necessarily going to be looking for sales on US30 yet. You could look for short-term sales for 45,300. We do hold a low as resistance to 45,120, but I'd much rather look for buys here and sales on NAS100. So it's a little bit of a different analysis on those two that I have, but again, the market structure is different on these two as well, right? So looks like gold's trying to push back up. Again, I'm either looking for buys here or price can push up. I'm looking for buys here. So again, the main part of trading isn't really just jumping into trades. It's really just, again, watching the charts, understanding what they're doing, respecting what they're doing, and again, just determining what's the best move to go for, right? And once you determine what the best move to go for is, then you wait for your confirmations. So we're going to be looking for the same sell side that we took on Wednesday. We also on last week's Wednesday live stream. We also broke this down during the live stream. We didn't take it live. We took it after the live was over. But we're literally going to go for the exact same move we went for on Wednesday if we can hold this low as resistance, of course. Got a new 15 about to pop up. So let's see what this 15 looks like. So this is a little too far for entry anyway, so I do want to see it come back to right here. It did do a nice retest and they moved lower low, which is what we was looking for. But it just went a little bit too far for me to enter at where it's at right now. I'm honestly not against this retracement on GJ because, again, GJ did this big ass move literally in one session, right? If you watched my lives before, you know I say this all the time, but if you haven't watched my live before recently, I want to give y'all some game right now, right? So again, on the daily time frame, right? So each one of these candlesticks, let me make sure I'm unmuted. Okay, cool. Each one of these candlesticks shows you what price did for that day, right? So we see this is how price did on Monday, this is how price did on Wednesday, you know, this is how price moves when there's decent volume. And obviously this is a large candlestick, right? But when we move this candlestick around, this is pretty much the size of what price does move-wise on a daily basis, right? This is literally almost the exact same size as the move price did yesterday. So for price to have done a move that the daily candlestick closes on, aka that means price did this entire move, London, Tokyo, and New York session. And for price to do this big move already in one session, it's either going to A, do what it's doing right now, retrace or consolidate, then push back up or push back down, right? But push back up in this case. Or B, we're going to see no really large candlestick, right? So then what GJ is doing right now is completely fine because if you can maintain a float on these levels, we can literally see price repeat the same move that it did last night going into New York session, which I'm not terribly against. Again, it's a little bit of a different week because we had a holiday on Monday. It's a new month as well as a new week as well. Again, the first and last week of the month, we have the most reports. We got some of the most important reports and news events popping off. It's going to be interesting to see how this week plays out. Again, last week kind of went as projected, especially when it was focusing on gold. But now we're going to see what this week's going to do with these charts. I was looking to ride that wave on GJ, buy-wise, but obviously the price had other plans for us. So we're about to see if we hold this level as resistance right here. GJ is not meeting our confirmation, so we simply don't enter. NAS is doing the drop we was looking for. Would have been a profit, but didn't take the setup. It is what it is. Shout out to those that did take that setup. The US30 is ripping down as well. Yeah, it didn't really retest like I was looking for. It did reject and push back down. So to be fair, we could have took a setup on that one, but I wanted to be a little bit safer, especially after what we just saw GJ and GU did. On top of it being news this week as well. But yeah, we do see a lower low getting formed right here. Yep, but again, I like this. So if it does retrace and maintain its resistance, that's just going to give me even more confidence to take that setup right here. Again, never chase a setup. Price more times than not retraces. If it doesn't retrace, just wait for a setup at the next area. Again, if you just simply just look at any chart, you can see that price usually before it doesn't move will retrace a couple of times before the move takes off. We saw that example many times last week. Even saw it here. Right? So again, never FOMO and chase a setup. Either wait for price to retrace and then catch that same setup we was looking for, or just wait for the next setup. Right? It's very, very, very simple. But let me switch back to this chart. The charts are moving crazy right now. Man, that thing ripped too, man. That was a nice setup. You did a nice move as well. Yeah, didn't do a retest like I was looking for, which is why I didn't take the setup. But as we see, there's obviously volume in the markets right now. But it's all good, right? Whenever I miss a setup, which is normal, anybody trading, miss a setup, this is what I do. Just let it play out. Again, this just gives me confidence to know, okay, at least I know my analysis was correct. And, reviewed the setup. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, doesn't matter, right? So now all we're going to do is we're going to wait for price to retrace back up and see if we can maintain this low as a resistance or see if price is going to break below and hold this low as resistance and then look for continuous sales. Very, very, very simple. So now that US30 works logo as well, we're no longer looking for buys unless we push back above. So now we're reversal territory. GU fucking taking the shit. Again, analysis was correct. This didn't meet my confirmations I was looking for, but obviously that thing did what we was looking for here. So yeah, so we stay below these levels. Looks like we're not looking for GU. You know, I am interested to see what price does going into New York section though. But if it does close here, that does solidify us looking for sales the rest of the week, unless of course another reversal takes place. But very interesting. Again, those that don't know what's going on, we had a few setups we was looking at, but when London session popped off, our plans got changed. As we can see right there, London session price reversed. Same thing with GU. GU's literally been dropping since London session started. Again, no retracements, no retests, so that's why we haven't pulled the trigger on anything. The NAS also dumped as well, going to zone to zone. Again, when that's projected, but didn't do the retest we was looking for, so we didn't take any of the setups. All right, but it's all good. So we're just gonna do that and get to the side. So we're gonna look for price to retrace, which I'd much rather see price do, or we're gonna look for sales right here. And we're also looking at gold. We're also letting gold retrace for us. See if we can get another setup on gold as well. Again, we can see here price struggling to hold this level as support. We need price to hold this level of support for that new higher high to come into play. Still looking for buys on GJ as long as we can maintain hold 199.15 as support. But yeah, GU again, look at this. Even with all this volume, we still see price what? Playing off these levels. Right? Even with this normal volume coming in, we'll see price what? Playing off and respecting these levels. Gonna be on for a little bit longer, y'all. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. We're looking at charts, drop in the chat. And I'm gonna do a poll, right? Because I'm gonna do a poll because like I say, like if we got questions, people interacting in the chat, I don't mind being on longer, just like with the TikTok lives. But usually, as you know, I'll be on for like an hour minimum. But I'll be noticing at 4 a.m. a lot more people be hopping in. So I'm gonna start doing a poll to see if y'all rather be me live starting at 4 a.m. or y'all want the London session open lives. I'm gonna start doing the poll. I do notice a lot of people be hopping in at 4 a.m. But London session starts at 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, I'll still be on the charts. But if y'all want me to go live at 4 a.m. instead of 3 a.m., let me know. But I'm probably going to do a poll later on this week because I have been noticing that a lot lately. But at the end of the day, London session still starts at 3 a.m., right? So I'm still going to be on the charts, still going to look for setups. So if I do take a set between 3 and 4 a.m., it is what it is. But if y'all are more active or more awake at 4 a.m., I can't start the lives at 4 a.m. So let's see if we can hold this level here. Look at that rejection. Let's see what this 15 looks like. Nasty rejection. I don't know what's going on with the charts right now. There's a lot of volume. I guess nobody was really trading over the holiday because there's just hella volume in the markets right now. As soon as London session, it was like everybody was waiting for London session today because as soon as London session started, these markets been going crazy. That's a nice rejection right there. So again, from this point NAS100, we're going to look to see a price can retrace retest 23,250. Maintain as resistance over the break below and hold 23,220 as resistance. We're going to continue supplement at 2100 or 23,100, I should say. You look at G react to the level, look at NAS react to the level. So again, it doesn't matter how much volume, price still reacts and has to respect these levels. Right, that's a nasty look right there. See, we're gonna hold this low as support here. Yeah, but going into New York session, Definitely gonna be interesting to see how new US30 NAS play out. Because again, US30 and NAS got two different things going on. So I'm gonna determine on the New York side which one to pay attention to. Because again, I don't want to be looking for buys on US30, sells on NAS, even though I can be correct on both of them. I don't want to do that. I just want to pick one, just like I always do, just like last week. Went from US30 to NAS, just like when NAS broke all-time highs, I'll switch from NAS to US30. I'm really looking at both because people keep asking me about both, so I'll just talk about both now. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to pick one of those two and stick to it, right? Because again, my game plan right now, and it's been working. Obviously, especially in the advanced play sitting room or in Playmaker University, you know it's been working. We've been going absolutely crazy this month. You're going to be tallying up to give y'all the recap of how we did last month. But if y'all was on Friday's last stream, we did the math, and literally, if you was just risking 1% per trade, you'd be up 40% on your account. That's including wins and losses. Again, we did it on Friday's live stream. We tallied up literally every trade, the risk reward. We counted the losses, we counted the wins. And if you was risking literally just 1% per trade, you could be up 40% just for last month. 2%, you'd be up 80%. Right? We get to 3 to 5%, then it's getting crazy. But literally, if you would have just risked 1% per trade, all wins and losses combined, you'd be up 40% of your account. Minimum. So these charts are doing some interesting stuff. I do like GJ, so I'm going to pay attention to GJ. And the other charts, I'm most likely just go wait to New York session to see how they play out New York session, especially after the news. Because again, it's the first week of the month. We got a lot of reports coming out. Again, instead of Wednesday ADP, we got Friday ADP, but we do got news at 10 a.m. today. Again, we just had some crazy volume kicking and going to the end session. Big reversals. Like, I'm not even going to trade for you today. That's a big ass candlestick. So let's price us some retracements or something. G was done for the day. G was done for the day. So I'm mainly just going to pay attention to gold and GJ, and then I'm going to determine if I want to look at NAS or what you call it, US30 going into New York. I'm mainly going to pay just gold and GJ for sure. Yeah, GJ just tapped this level, so I'm about to see if we can hold. Again, as long as we can maintain 199.15 as support, we're still bullish. We're still looking for buys. So let's see if we can hold this lower right here. Gonna be on for a little bit longer. Again, if you guys got any questions, drop in the chat. When looking at your charts, drop in the chat. We got our live access back on TikTok as well. So I have to check my schedule. Most likely we'll be going live today though. Of course, I'll let you know if we go live. So make sure you have your notice on Telegram. And also have your notice on TikTok. Again, y'all see the TikTok and Instagram scrolling on my screen. Instagram playmaker_wait, TikTok _playmaker_wait _. Also, make sure to follow my backup TikTok as well. If you scroll up to literally just whatever day it was, I'm terrible with time. You don't know this. Go to the 28th. Follow my backup TikTok as well, just to be on the safe side. Yeah, definitely an interesting start to definitely an interesting start to the day. So again, y'all, if y'all don't see any action between now and 6 a.m., I recommend just waiting for New York Open. Do keep in mind 30 minutes after New York Open. As far as the stock exchange, New York Open. So but stock exchange and all that stuff, look at 30. But 30 minutes after that, we do have 10 a.m. news, so do keep that in mind. I do also later on this week got a video dropping on how to trade news. If you check out the How to Trade News playlist, I have not updated that playlist in like a year, but everything's still the exact same. So make sure to check out the playlist as well. I'm just going to drop a more up-to-date video breaking down how to trade news. So we're going to be looking for GBPJPYs here. I do like this setup as long as we can maintain support. Again, we was patiently waiting for the price to break out of this for the past 2 weeks. Monday, price snuck off. Monday night, price did a nice move. And again, London session went and ruined everybody's day. Just went away from the test confirmations. Imagine how many people's looking for buys or enter buys here. It's not funny. It's funny because it's not me anymore. I'm laughing because I think it's kind of a similar situation that took place with what was it, gold last week? Obviously, it's not funny for last week. It's funny to me because it used to happen to me all the time, and I understand why it used to happen. But what was a good example? This was a good example. Kind of. This was Tokyo session. I feel like this happened here. It is. Yeah. Right. So again, you never want to break out. You always want to wait for the break and retest. And the reason why I like to wait for the market open because as you can see when the market open starts, that's when the volume kicks in. Like y'all gonna see the TikTok and Instagram post later on this week, as well as a YouTube post. I mean, I'm talking about last week was so textbook. Last week was so textbook when it came to just came to setups. Let me show you what I mean. I'm not going to spoil the post I got lined up, but like Thursday and Friday last week was just perfect. Obviously, we took an L on this session on the NAS100 setup, but we made it back on the gold setup. I didn't call it gold signal, but we walked gold down, of course, like we do every day on those setups. So let me show y'all that really quick. All right, okay. Whoops, let me get rid of that. We are not in the trade. I had a trade idea written up, but obviously my confirmations weren't met. But again, we talked about this in the Friday live stream. Obviously, we went live during the news. Boom, wham, bam. We talking about gold and NAS right here. Boom, wham, bam. Then you see right here 9:14, right? 15 minutes before 9:30 open. Show the gold setup. I said we just broke that zone. Let's see if we can hold the low at support. As you can see right here. Then literally 9:30 open. Again, just classic, beautiful retest. And obviously, we know what gold did all Friday. That thing fucking flew to the upside, right? Did the same thing on Friday. New York session open. Same exact thing. Again, 10 minutes before New York Open. NAS broke the low, did a retest. Gold broke that low, was looking for a retest. Then literally 3 minutes into 9:30. Again, Like last week was super text. We're going to see how this week plays out. So again, we're going to look to see if we can hold this level of support. It is showing a nice respect. So we want to see how this closes. We'll look for the next 15. If I like what I like on the next 15, meeting members might hop into this and then just see what New York sessions got for us. Let me put this back on actual chart. There we go. I was like, what the heck? Yeah, I like that wick right there. I like that wick right there. Let's see how that candlestick closes. All right, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody's been live since the beginning. Shout out to everybody's been live since y'all joined. A little too high against a lot of volume right now, which isn't terrible. But if it can close a little bit lower, I do like this setup right here. But shout out to everybody live that's been here since the beginning. Shout out to those that's been here since y'all joined. Again, make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join the free Signal, free Telegram. Y'all see on your screens how we did last month and last quarter. Go ahead and hit that first link and check it out for yourselves. Again, y'all, I'm going to be doing a recap of how we did last month later on today. Be on the lookout for that. Those that missed the live, do rewind and watch the live. Nas did the move we was looking for, just didn't take the setup. GU quickly did what we was looking for, but again, didn't do the retest, so we didn't pull the trigger on that. So now we're going to be seeing what GJ does for us. But yeah, y'all, we'll be back at the same time tomorrow, London session 3 m EST, and we'll most likely be live later on TikTok.